Hello, this is Goku for the Sim 1, and I'm back this time to do another pitch video. This time it's a pitch video of a zombie show idea I had way back, a year or two before Walking Dead was announced. It was probably 3 years before. I think I was working on it in, I think like '06 is when I came up with the idea, around that time. It was a while back. It was quite a while back. And my idea is quite different, but I would never try to get this on television now because people would say I'm ripping off The Walking Dead, even though I came up with this idea before, and it's not The Walking Dead. Certainly there are ideas that I see in The Walking Dead, and I'm like, oh, I had a similar idea. And I like that. I like they're taking some of my ideas. Like, obviously, they're not taking my idea. They're using similar ideas in the movie because I think my ideas work. And so I'm going to break down the first season, and I might do more, but I do want to break down the first season and kind of get my idea of what I would have done. So the show starts off with a military team of around 6 to 7 guys, surrounded by another group of people, about 7 people, huddled in between of survivors, and they're out in the middle of nowhere, and they run across a Costco-like building. And they basically take it over, and there are some survivors, and you soon find out that there was a zombie attack, and these people are trained to know what to do. They have plenty of weapons, and essentially they take over this building, and the main character in the first episode, a colonel, special forces colonel, basically explains that this is what they do. This is what the military is trained to do: handle horrible situations like this. And one of the main characters, one of the recurring characters, is a governor of, or a mayor of one of the towns, and they're in California. They're in the middle of nowhere. And he's basically like, I'm a leader. That's what I do professionally. And the military guy basically has this line of, if you can punch me, I'll let you be in charge, because he knows he can't punch him. This guy is trained to take out the best of the best. And so the idea is that he explains to everybody that they need somebody who knows how to handle disaster situations. Because this guy is trained to handle things when things are going fairly well. Yeah, taxes might be bad, shit like that, but not end of the world type shit. This guy, the main character, is trained to handle shit when the shit goes down. And so essentially the first episode is just getting everybody in it, and essentially having your first glimpse of how they're going to survive. And the opening scene is where you get your zombies. There's not many zombies in the first episode. And to kind of give you zombie attacks, the idea I came up with is each subsequent episode would be one of the main characters, and to show how they got into this, how they got. The first one being the main character story with his team. And I had to figure out how everyone survives, because the idea of this is that when you inhale this gas, you become a zombie. And so the idea is that everybody has to not have inhaled the gas to not be a zombie. And so most of the world is zombies. All the major cities were attacked. And how I get around this is, they were in a military base in the armory, and they saw the gas, and so they put on their gas masks, and that's how they survive it. And so they basically take all the guns in the armory and get out of there. And essentially their episode is how they got to this Costco's like place, and their journey there. I mean, I don't know every little detail yet, but that's essentially the second episode. And then the other episodes, I don't know in what order. The mayor character would probably get an episode. The gamer, there's kind of like an anime gamer geek kind of character. He's going to be in the group of characters survived, but they're going to show how he got to that situation of being saved. And then there's a nurse who was at a major hospital in California, and she was in a sterile area. That's how she survives. And there are going to be other characters, and pretty much the people in the Costco. There will also be a thief character who is also a prominent character. He survived because he was shoplifting. He was in the Costco's when this happened, out in the middle of nowhere, and so that place didn't get affected. Because the idea of it is it dissipates once it gets once it gets away from the buildings. And the idea is that this is out in the middle of nowhere, so it would have dissipated by then. It would not have attacked them. The buildings would have concentrated it and made it where it probably got the entire city. And so areas like Metro Detroit, that's by a major city, would be infected because everything is like a major city. The idea is that because there is the middle of nowhere in that type aspect of in that area, that's how they survive. And so essentially that would be the next 6 episode would be character stories. The mid-season finale, a group of SWAT actually break into their camp, try to take their shit, gets rid of all the ammunition inside the store because of a firefight that they have, other than bows and stuff like that. And essentially they have to survive, and eventually they end up surviving, and they end up getting rid of these people. And then the show goes back to subsequent episodes of survival, and you introduce these characters, and you find out who they are, and you really get to know these characters. And there are episodes of them going out trying to get supplies, and not a lot of people died necessarily. 1 or 2 dies. But the idea is that this show is not about zombies. It's about survival. Zombies are only a setting. The survival and how people would react into a situation like this is what the show really is about. And then we actually get to the proper finale, where essentially what happens is the first episode is showing the leader of the SWAT team what happened to him. The first episode is how they survived, and the second episode is what the hell happened to them once they left this place. And then that would be a 2-parter. And then the finale is he actually rams their place into them and says, "All my people are dead. I'm the only survivor. I need your help." And the zombies are flooding into the store. And essentially, the finale is them getting the hell out of there and getting to location 2 for season 2. Which would be a hospital. Why they do this, it's explained in season 2, which I might do a video. But to get more onto this, I want to talk a little bit about how I would have done the show. Is essentially the show every season would be a different location. The first season is surviving in a relatively small area. Costco's might seem big, but relatively it's a small area. Like, it's very easy to manage and take care of. Because it's essentially how it's set up is one gigantic room with shelves, so it'd be much easier to survive, and you have supplies. The second season would be a hospital, because that's a much bigger area. How do you do that? Well, you take one floor, and it's much harder to survive in a situation like that. Season 3 would be on the run. It'd be Mad Max. It'd be them in like really cool cars driving around in the desert areas and stuff like that. By Las Vegas and stuff like that, surviving. And you would find out there are a lot of survivors because a lot of small towns did survive. Because the major cities went down, the power plants are down, but these small towns are making the best because most of these people were not necessarily taken over, but some of the zombies now, because it's been months and months, have gotten in and attacked them, and these people are surviving. And there's one storyline where they actually meet a group of survivors who essentially have like a great armory, and they're not willing to trade, and essentially they have armor, they have weapons that they're never going to use. On the end of that season, you meet the town, because yes, I've came up with this idea before I saw Walking Dead. You have to have a major town, and so and the town is like would be essentially one of the major set pieces of season 4, where you actually have a town that's doing great. They have gigantic walls. They have a farm, and they're surviving well. But somewhere in season 3, they find out a clue that New York City holds the key to maybe stopping this. That they think the outbreak started in New York City. So season 3 is them going to New York City. And so you have the town life, and that's pretty much everything is going well, and nobody's getting attacked, and how these people survive now that they're in this good situation, and that they have people that are caring about them and taking care of them, and they're making their life. While the main character and a couple of the other characters, the SWAT team and the nurse, would be 2 of them that goes with them, goes to New York City. And the other part of season 4 is surviving in the major fucking city. How the hell could that even be done? And the idea of it is and then they find out what really happened, and the final season, which I won't reveal here, is essentially them going to where it all started, the actual place where the mastermind of this is, and essentially stopping it. So that was my idea for a zombie TV show. Please leave your comments below. Tell me if you think this might have been as good as Walking Dead. Tell me if you like my ideas for my zombie TV show, or if you think that you're happy Walking Dead came out and I didn't get to this first. And yeah, I just want to know. I like Walking Dead. I think it's a great TV show. And hey, this wasn't something I was really passionate about. It was just an idea I came up with, and I like the idea. I would like to know what you think. It's Goku for the Silver One. I'll see you next time, YouTube.